Hey yo, what's going on everybody? Today we're gonna get straight to this reaction. A lot different, but I think it's relevant in light of the recent movie Sound of Freedom. A lot of talk about human trafficking. What this is a throwback from the Oprah Winfrey show. I think it's filmed around 1987-88, but a lot of talk. This is on the Oprah Winfrey show, bro. A lot of talk about satanic rituals, human sacrifice, and one specific group who's behind it. So if you follow the trail, this is where it will ultimately lead you. And I can't believe I had this video saved. It was crazy when I found it. I was like, I gotta react to this. So I don't even know. We just gonna pretend like this ain't even up. So hey man, let's get straight to this reaction. I ain't even gonna talk through it. We gonna watch the whole thing. Let's get it.
My next guest found herself part of a group of young women and children forced to surrender their bodies in some of the most evil rituals imaginable. Her own child was used in a human sacrifice ritual. It was only 3 years ago that Lauren Stratford gained the courage to talk about her horrifying experiences publicly. She still receives harassing phone calls and threats from members of the cult. She's the author of this book called Satan's Underground. As a child, my next guest was used also in worshiping the devil, participated in human sacrifice rituals and cannibalism. She says her family has been involved in rituals for generations. She is currently in extensive therapy, suffers from multiple personality disorder, meaning she's blocked out many of the terrifying and painful memories of her childhood. Meet Rachel, who is also in disguise to protect her identity. My next guest treats ritually abused children in her therapist practice. She feels that the problem is much more widespread than any of us can imagine. Says there's no doubt in her mind that the children and adults that she treats are telling the truth. Tina Grossman, we're glad to have all of you join us here on the show. You come from generations of ritualistic abuse?
Yes, my family has an extensive family tree, and they keep track of who's been involved and who hasn't been involved. And it's gone back to like 1700.
And so you were
right. I was born into a family that believes in this.
And does everyone else think it's a nice Jewish family? From the outside, you appear to be a nice Jewish girl.
Definitely.
And you all are worshiping the devil inside the home?
Right. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family.
Really? And so who knows about it? Lots of people now.
I talked to a police detective in the Chicago area, and several of my friends know, and I've spoke publicly before. And
so when you were brought up in this kind of evilness, did you just think it was normal?
I blocked out a lot of the memories I had because of my multiple personality disorder. But yes, I mean, it's like if you grow up with something, you think it's normal. Mm-hmm. I always thought.
So what kinds of things? You don't have to give us the gory details, but what kinds of things went on in the family?
Well, there would be rituals in which babies would be sacrificed, and you would have to,
Whose babies?
There were people who.
Sounds very familiar.
Bred babies in our family. No one would know about it. A lot of people were overweight, so you couldn't tell if they were pregnant or not, or they would supposedly go away for a while and then come back.
Now, you were telling us earlier that this was that the practice with the Kilroy death was a religion called
Palo-Mayombe, which not all people who practice Palo-Mayombe obviously sacrifice. I think what we're looking at is a worship of evil here.
Right.
Taking normal or standard religions and converting them to the worship of evil.
Right. And I just want to emphasize that you don't have to be Caribbean to do it.
No.
Yes.
The other thing I want to point out, not all Jewish people sacrifice babies. I mean, that's not a very
I think we kind of know that.
I just want to point that out.
This is the first time I heard of any Jewish people sacrificing babies. But anyway, so. Anyway, so you witnessed the sacrifice.
Right. When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant.
And the purpose of sacrifice is to what? Is to bring you what? What are you sacrificing for?
For power.
Power.
For power.
Power.
The fact that this was on the Oprah Winfrey show on national television is crazy, bruh. Specifically, can't talk about stories throughout history, specifically regarding, you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man. And she the one saying it, not me. Like, I'm just reacting to it. Like, I want to know what y'all think. Let me know in the comments.
And so, were you ever used? Were you ever used yourself?
I was molested. I was raped several times.
And what's your mother doing
She's
in all of this? What's her role in all of this?
I'm not exactly what her role is. I haven't, recovered all of my memories, but her family was extremely involved. She brought me to it. Both of my parents brought me to it.
And where is she now?
She's lives in the Chicago metropolitan area. She's on the Human Relations Commission of the town that she lives in, and she's an outstanding citizen. Nobody would suspect her. Nobody would suspect anybody involved in it. There's police officers involved in it. There's, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs involved in it. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family. I mean, it's not the person, who looks scummy that's involved in it. It's someone who looks normal.
That's right. Yeah, you want to say
Oprah don't know what the fuck to say, bruh. God damn.
Seems, and of course, people maybe don't track these things as much as I do. But in Monrovia, Liberia, a couple of years ago, about 7 gentlemen, one of which was trying to become mayor. These were politicians, very political figures in Monrovia, Liberia. Sacrificed. They had an abduction of a 6 and 7-year-old boy. And the religion was Juju. Certainly not all people do that in Juju. But they believed by sacrificing these children that they would be able to gain political favor through this supernatural belief system. So
I just wanted to say that if you were raised in a household where you learned right from wrong, how could that ever be right? It's so wrong. I don't know how anybody could say that would be okay to do.
Were you raised with a sense of right and wrong, Rachel?
Yes. I mean, it's like I had both. I mean, to the outside world, everything we did was proper and right. And then there were the nights that things changed, that things just got turned around. What was wrong was right, and what was right was wrong. What was wrong was right, and what was right was wrong. What was wrong was right, and what was right was wrong.
yes, I think it's important to know that these people definitely believe that Satan is the most powerful person, more powerful than God. And they believe in one time, I believe a lot of these preschool kids are being abused now, so that in future years they will be called to be our future generation.
You mean in the nursery schools that we hear?
Yes. And these people believe. I mean, it's, as much as I believe in my God, in Jesus Christ, they believe in their God as being Satan, that he has more power and he's going to feed everybody. And
did you once believe that too?
No, I was never a Satanist, but I certainly lived with people who did believe that.
Did you ever participate in the killing of human sacrifice?
I don't know.
Yes.
I would assume I probably did. I seldom say that. I'm very emotional today because of having to watch these pictures. I never have never.
How was they not arrested after this interview? I could doubt they was even arrested after this shit was released, bro. And that's the thing. This shit really goes on, and the real players behind it, nothing happens to them, bro. This shit just goes on. What you think happened to all them kids at the border, bro? What you think happened in the thousands and thousands of kids that go missing every year? Y'all ever been to Walmart and seen the wall, bro? I truly believe that this is the driving force to all the evil in the world, is this black magic spell game that's being performed, on everybody. It's like we all under a spell. The only way to free yourself is if you find God, if we just keeping it real. So
Today, I'm on the verge of it because I was on a radio program the other day and I got so upset because I said, what's the magic number for do we have to uncover 500 bodies or 1,000 bodies before we believe it? Does it have to be in Arizona or does it have to be in New York? When will the country finally, it's in Mexico, so now it doesn't happen in the United States, but she saw it, people across the country. I get letters from parents who have seen it. I don't know where my son is. I would like to bring his body and show him to you and say, now will you believe? And I think most of the country would find a way still
Not to believe.
to not believe it because then we have to do something
But
about
it's just
it.
like this woman said, and it's just like Mr. Maddox said earlier.
People don't
It's
want to
very
believe it.
hard for those of us who've been raised, and I've been raised in the Christian faith, and many people raised in the Jewish faith. It's very difficult for good, upstanding, decent people to even. It's hard for this to even seep into our brains. And we have spared the details of what actually happened in that ranch. It's hard for the human mind to
The
conceive this
truth
is
is
what
the
went
truth,
on.
whether you like it or not, man. And the truth is uncomfortable, but the fact of the matter is, I can speak to my personal experience. Like, my life hasn't been the same since I uncovered this information. Really realizing that this world is run by psychopaths and that we really don't have a way out. Our only way out is in the afterlife. And our only way to combat the evil is with the good by finding God. It's kind of depressing that we can't do anything about it in this world other than ask God to protect us, ask God to guide us, and combat the evil and just speak out against it. So it's crazy, man. So that's the end of the interview. The last couple of minutes they just do some other shit, but I just wanted to talk about that because I found this video saved on my playlist and I just wanted to give a reaction to that. So interesting stuff, man. And to think that this was on the Oprah Winfrey show, you got to look at also where Oprah Winfrey is at now and ask them questions too. So hey, man, nobody gets a pass. All these folks in them rooms, are all in it together. So, with that being said, I appreciate y'all. If y'all tuned in, that's the end of that. We're going to be uploading more every day. One love. Peace.